People are migrating from Windows to Linux because of the design changes in these two operating systems. If you build software, you're probably taught to cater to user preferences. But this great migration to Linux actually shows something different. It shows how design can actually alter a user's preference. Are people really switching because of how great Linux is? Windows once was the OG gaming operating system and the preferred OS for many occupations, like coding, engineering, finance, scientists. But what happened? Why is everyone, including the YouTube legend himself, switching?
Don't worry, I can save you. Install Linux.
How did the experience design, both within Linux and Windows, lead to this migration? And what can we learn from this if we want to build software that people actually want to stay and use? For the person who brought this topic to my attention, thank you. If you're curious about a specific topic, comment down below, and you might just find an answer to it on this channel in the future. Once upon a time, Windows dominated the PC industry. Everyone was using it. To game, to crunch Excel sheets, to make silly software, it was more customizable than macOS. So it became the natural operating system for those who like to tinker with their computers. Enter Linux, a new operating system born in 1991. It was the underdog to Windows. Linux, made by this Finnish guy, was more lightweight and customizable than Windows, and more importantly, it was open sourced. But only the geekiest of the geeks used it. There was a steep learning curve. Until now. In recent years, this curve has flattened. The original audience were gamers or techie people who worked their coding day jobs and built PCs at night. But now, non-technical people are also leaving Windows for Linux.
Let me start this off by saying I am not a tech guy. You saw my PC building video.
Looks all bent.
I'm surprised the whole thing hasn't exploded.
If PewDiePie can install and use Linux, so can you. Everyone's switching to Linux. But why? Again, are people switching because of how great Linux is? Or are they simply escaping because of how bad Windows is getting? We can answer these questions by referring to this, what I call a user experience teeter-totter. What gets users to stay and use a product comes down to its pros and cons. Before we go down the list of how Microsoft has messed up, let's discuss what it has done well. What kept people using Windows was that it had a nice balance between customization and plug and play. A slew of software are pre-installed, making these computers ready to use out of the box. Office work? Check. Some light entertainment? Check. If you wanted to get fancy and download some advanced software that you found online, you could do that too. It was a pretty well-loved system until recent years. Enter Microslop, a word currently banned on the Copilot Discord channel. Microslop describes the enshittification of Windows, where the experience now consists of AI bloatware, ads, and a poor design.
Don't even get me started on the Windows taskbar.
As much as the maximal style works in some cases, it doesn't work here. People go to the taskbar to get things done, not to browse ads. Hey, can you stop showing the ads for 1 second? Let me help you with that. Let's search on Bing. How to get rid of ads. I don't want to play Candy Crush. Oh, don't want to use Bing? Try Microsoft Edge, your new AI browser. Another thing that adds to this side of the teeter-totter are the random, unsolicited updates.
Seriously, you auto-updating now? General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the satellite for 49 minutes.
How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Microsoft!
Back in high school, we had to use these ThinkPad laptops, which had Windows pre-installed. One day, I was on the laptop and I really didn't want to write this essay. All of a sudden, it's like the universe heard my calling. I did eventually have to write the essay though, the organic way. Anyway, all of these quirky Windows things, which ramped up within the last few years, made people real mad. The teeter-totter keeps tilting, forcing Windows users to find a better one in the playground. Let's compare the user experience between Linux and Windows. Users originally preferred the plug-and-play model of Windows, but with recent updates, their preferences have changed to avoid ads and bloatware, even if it means a steeper learning curve. Enter Linux. Let's check out the experience from a company's perspective. Why does Steam, the current largest distribution platform for games, use Linux? There are many reasons, but the most critical one comes back to customization. It's cheaper and easier for Steam people to modify the OS in order to fit the Steam Deck style. If they use Windows, they'd have to pay Microsoft loads of money for each iteration of the OS. With Linux, though, they can customize to their desire and pay way less, if at all, because Linux is open sourced. Speaking of customization, I wanted to redesign this distro, Zorin OS, and I challenged myself to do that with Framer. Framer is an online website builder, and I wanted to see if I could capture that clean, minimalist feel without the bloatware experience that we're tired of seeing. If you watch this channel, you might have used Figma. Since I use Figma pretty much every day for my design work, using Framer was like wearing the same shoes of a different color. The interface and shortcuts are just so similar to Figma that there was basically zero learning curve. So here you can see that the interface panel is very similar to that of Figma. It's got all of the buttons and tools that you need. I can basically start building from here, which I did. With Framer, there's no handoff, no code, just pure design. This is the final result. And the cool part is this isn't just a mock-up. It's a production-ready site that looks like I spent months fighting CSS, when in reality, I pretty much just stayed in my design comfort zone. Framer is the fastest way to go from a design idea to a live URL. Yes, it might be a website builder, but who says you couldn't post your ideal Linux OS customization as a page on your blog to show to the world? Click the link in the description to start building for free. Go design something cool, and for once, don't worry about the bloat. What about UX from a consumer's perspective? Well, I interviewed some of my developer friends whose comments reflect what these people say. I also asked my brother, who's a die-hard gamer, currently obsessed with Arc Raiders, but not necessarily a developer. So both technical and non-technical people found Linux pretty easy to use. In general, though, using Linux is like building your own PC. It's open sourced, more customizable, which means it's also easier to mess up. Windows is like buying an iMac. Closed-sourced, uncustomizable, but the experience is intuitive, easy to use from the get-go. So what is it that makes Linux feel so customizable? Introducing distros, Linux distributions. From a design POV, this is like the UI of Linux, making this turn into a functional interactive interface. In more technical terms, distros are operating systems built on the Linux kernel, ranging from beginner-friendly desktop systems to advanced, more specialized platforms. But there's a problem. When it comes to choosing a distro, there are options. Too many options. Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, Debian, Red Hat, Mint, Manjaro, Elementary, Zorin OS. Analysis paralysis is a state of overthinking a decision, often caused by information overload. When it comes to choosing the best distro, the average non-technical user is confused. They'd go down a YouTube rabbit hole where each video is telling them to calm down and just pick this distro. What would help is if Linux people pumped out some of their own content, maybe a little Linux 101 moment, or have an onboarding tutorial for non-technical people. Good news, though, is that some distros were made for fresh-off-the-boat Windows users.
because Mint was designed with people like you in mind. It looks familiar, it works right out of the box, and if you really want, you can even theme it so it looks like Windows 10 or 11. It's like tricking your brain into thinking you never left.
The familiarity principle explains this. Users prefer interfaces that behave similarly to others they have already used, allowing them to transfer existing knowledge to new systems to reduce learning time. Either way, customization is something that people want to do. We see this unfold during the era of MySpace, when everyone customized their sites to their heart's desires. Beyond the realm of design, there's one other thing that has a huge impact on user behavior: the ecosystem in which the user resides, aka what is everyone around them doing? Are their engineering coworkers using Windows? Are other students in their college using macOS? When I asked one of my developer friends about their experience with Linux, they responded, "I still use macOS because the ecosystem of engineers is very lively where I work. But I know a lot of CTF people who use Linux. Even though I don't use Linux as my personal computer, it is heavily used whenever engineers run code on the cloud. Literally every company you think of that has code is running some sort of container in the cloud on a Linux OS." That makes sense. It's hard to be the sore thumb that sticks out. Whether it's because their employer sets rules for better collaboration, or their peers simply rave about a specific operating system, the user will naturally gravitate towards what people around them use. So to build solid products, we must understand the environment in which the user resides. People also prefer Linux because of its safety feature. In the olden days, Linux was safer because hackers designed malware to target Windows, not Linux. Hackers once didn't care about Linux. Today, that's no longer true. With Linux expanding to cloud services and the rise of the Steam Deck, Linux-specific malware surged within the last 2 years. But it's actually pretty hard for a random link on the web to brick your entire system, thanks to Linux's permission-based files. Basically, for every file, you as the owner can set exactly who can access it and what they can do with the file. It takes some getting used to, but it's very secure. At the end of the day, the migration to Linux makes sense from a user experience perspective. Linux is getting easier to use, while Windows is reaching the tipping point of being obnoxious enough to force people to switch. But really, the two operating systems aim to serve two different user groups. If Windows and Linux can be explained in terms of Minecraft servers, Windows would be this server with strict limitations, such as what you can and cannot mine. It's restrictive, but easy to join and play right away. Linux, on the other hand, is this open-world creative server.
I introduce to you the giant meatball. That's right.
Where you can modify or grief everything, including your own stuff. So, which is better? Well, it depends on the target user group, their environment, and the goal of the company. UX design is fluid. As much as we're taught certain guidelines, including some mentioned on this channel, they are, at the end of the day, guidelines. There aren't hard, fast rules when it comes to building a product. Context is key. And to understand context, you have to understand the people you're building for. So, what would you do to understand your users?